TVs last night. I'm sure none of us would have expected the 20 crore mark to be breached not once but twice. I have Boria, Trisha, and Debashish joining me. You all three have had a good night's sleep. Does Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc going for 20 plus crores still make sense to you?
Who wants to go first?
So I will just correct her. I'm an RCB fan, so I cannot have a good night's sleep whenever it's somewhere around IPL and IPL auction. But Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc, I still cannot understand genuinely, because Pat Cummins was in KKR. KKR did that mistake, and I am saying it's a mistake because in one of the matches he batted well. Bowling, he see any bowler in T20 format is anyway going to go for runs. You are looking for, why your leg spinner is more more sought out in the T20 format, because they are wicket taking. Pat Cummins is not going to give you wickets, and Mitchell Starc, I am only scared will he be available also, because remember he always puts country first.
He will be, you know why? Because the T20 World Cup is coming up. He wants some practice.
Fair point.
Fair point. Fair point.
Fair point.
But 24.75 for that fair point, don't know.
Yeah, obviously, he will be feeling the pressure when he picks, goes to his run-up, the first match at Eden Gardens in front of 70,000 odd spectators. 25 crores, almost 25 crores, it's not a joke. Means obviously, you ought to feel, means what are you going to repay back to the franchise? Means obviously, and this will be a huge challenge. Obviously, KKR had to go for a top player, top fast bowler, having released most of their fast bowlers in the likes of Team Saudi, Lockie Ferguson, Umesh Yadav, Shardul Thakur. So they had to go for a big name. Obviously, we also discussed in our pre-auction show that KKR will be going for a fast bowler, but to be going for 25 crores, spending 75 of their spurs, it's a bit baffling.
My point is what he actually said, sort of taking off from there. Suppose Mitchell Starc fails. Whose fault is it? Mitchell Starc's? Because he's human. He'll think at the back of his mind 25 crores. Now, if he can sort of obliterate that and come and play with a free mind, then he's God. If he can sort of completely forget that and be in the zone and say, okay, it's a game. Can he? 24.75 crores, will that play on his mind? Yes, no. If it does, it will be humongous pressure. And then if he fails, is it mental health? Is it failure? Will KKR then challenge him for failing, or will they challenge their own decision? Will the fans troll him? Will the fans troll the management? This is a catch-22. It can be, there's a very thin line between bravado and stupidity. I hope this is the greatest decision in the history of the IPL for KKR. If it backfires, it can be a big, big mistake. So yes, you asked us whether we've been able to come to terms with it. We are not on the auction table, thankfully so. But we know, no, I for example, haven't.
Thankfully, it's not your money.
It's not our money. And when I think from the perspective of the player, it's difficult. I mean, at one level, it's great to say, oh, Mitchell Starc's got this kind of money. But to then think that I've got to now go out there and perform, to get the money is one thing. It's not easy being Mitch Starc. So please, Pat Cummins or Mitch Starc can be two of the greatest bowlers of our time, captain, etc. But it's not going to be easy for them, because this kind of money puts insane pressure.
One thing. I think also one reason that we had discussed yesterday was, I think the Australians are always backed. Travis had went for 6.5 crores, if I'm not wrong, to Sunrisers, which is a very good buy. But what I'm saying is, you would generally see the purse is broken for Australian players, because somewhere we feel that because, this is there in the psychology that because they have more cups, so they have more experiences in the crunch situation to handle the crunch situations. That is where we back them. The other point I feel is also that KKR must be thinking that it's an investment for a year, because there will be mega auction, and of course, if it works out for you, fantastic, but you get to release him in the next year.
It's a very good point. I mean, this whole point about why go for Australians. When I see a Rachin Ravindra, when I see some of the other guys go, Wanindu Hasaranga, go for 1.5, 2 crores, and I see Australians go for 20 crores, it's actually because their international performance is reflecting here. That they win World Cups, they win major tournaments. So these guys know the big stage, they perform at the big stage, they soak in the pressure, and that's why franchises break their bank. Azmatullah Omarzai 50 lakhs and somebody else 20 crores is because Afghanistan will be Afghanistan. And there's that little element that Australia brings together.
And it is even more baffling when you see Mumbai Indians picking those two fast bowlers, Gerald Coetzee and
Dilshan
Dilshan
Madhushanga.
Madhushanga.
and less than 10 crores.
Boss, I think.
And KKR did not go for both of them.
Yeah.
That is what is
No,
baffling.
but I think KKR could not have because Dilshan Madhushanga came after.
After.
Yeah.
But why they did not go for Coetzee?
Coetzee?
Yeah. That's the point. I mean, because Dilshan Madhushanga, Mitchell Starc, similar bowlers.
Absolutely.
You have broken your bank for Starc, so you could not. But if you actually ask all of us, you said, have you come to terms with it? I think all of us will be unanimous. I don't know about you. I think all of us that Mumbai Indians made the two smartest buys of the auction.
Yes.
Two fast bowlers,
Absolutely.
superb. I mean, Gerald Coetzee and Dilshan Madhushanga to partner Jasprit Bumrah and that batting lineup
Yes.
now. Rohit and Surya and Ishan and Tilak and Hardik to go with this bowling lineup. Hardik Pandya will be itching now to go out there as captain.
Absolutely.
SRH, while going for Pat Cummins, had a purse of 23 crores. And then went for Pat Cummins, bid 20.5 crores. What even is that strategy?
I think they got it because they had Travis Head before that, and they got Wanindu Hasaranga from SRH was a steal at 1.5 crores.
Yeah.
That's where their money got made. So if I am trying to analyze it, and this is how I did, I thought they were saving about 7-8 for Wanindu, and they were going for about 10-11 for Travis Head. So that's where they saved about 10-11 crores. They would have gone for 10 crores for Cummins, and they decided, okay, we've got 10 crores extra now because we've got these two, so let's break the bank. So these three were the target for a total purse of 22, 23, 25, 27 crores. That's what they spent. But because they got these two cheap, Travis Head for 6.5 and Wanindu for 1.5, they went ahead with Pat Cummins. But if you take Pat Cummins as an individual buy, absolutely makes no sense. Travis Head, yes, lot of sense. Wanindu, huge. But Pat Cummins, 20.5 crores for what?
And when you speak about all-rounders, you at least bank on the fact that when you're saying all-rounder, you want them to win both ways. Like, when you say
Yeah.
Hardik is an all-rounder, he can win a match with the bat, he can win a match with the ball. Also, he can win a match with captaincy. Here I know a lot of people have been writing. I went on Twitter and a lot of people have been talking about Pat Cummins' captaincy. But I'm sorry for saying this. A captain is as good as the team. You give an Australian team probably to any of us, we'll also win cups. That is there. So you cannot directly say that Pat Cummins only because of captaincy. So as he said, when you see totally who SRH have bought, I think it has balanced it out. But if you see Pat Cummins, then you start thinking, and also you have to think the World Cup was in Indian soil. How effective was he? And that too, it was an ODI World Cup. Now you go back to the previous IPLs. What was his performance? Does he actually warrant that much money?
And just to put a question for both you and Devashish, you've got Travis Head, you've got Aiden Markram, you've got Henrik Klassen, you've got
Glenn Phillips.
Glenn Phillips.
You've got
Wanindu
Wanindu
Hasaranga,
Hasaranga, and now you've got Pat
Pat
Cummins.
Cummins. Who do you drop?
Phillips, I understand, fair enough. But among the other five, Head, Hasaranga, Cummins, Markram,
And Markram is your captain.
Markram, and Klassen in this form.
See, you can't drop Klassen. He's your
You
middle
can't,
order.
yeah.
So then you drop Head.
That's where it's getting to.
Have you seen Head perform?
I have completely seen
Yeah,
him
no.
perform. But the point is,
So then you drop Markram, who was your captain.
so that's what I'm saying. I was just sitting and thinking, probably in their head, in their head, not Travis head, in their head they thought Wanindu Hasaranga and Pat Cummins probably will be coming into play. Say if it's a Chennai wicket, you go for Hasaranga.
Yeah.
If it's Kolkata, you go for Pat Cummins. You have paid 20.5 crores for Pat Cummins. How can you ask him to sit out in the rest of the matches?
So, that's what is baffling about the IPL.
Yeah, I think I would still feel Sunrisers will feel happy about it after the auction because they let go someone like a Harry Brook, Akil Hussain, and Adil Rashid. So when you talk about these three and to get instead Travis Head, Wanindu Hasaranga, and Pat Cummins, any day you would go for this three. Yes, you might.
No, it's a good buy
Yeah,
combined.
It's a good buy combined.
Again, we all are agreeing with what you said. The releases and the total buys, understandable. But when you are talking about total buys, it is also the three names that you took: Adil Rashid, Akil Hussain, and Harry Brook. Leave Harry Brook aside because batter, that is a different point. Akil Hussain and Adil Rashid, they didn't play in all the matches, right?
Absolutely.
But when you're paying 20.50 for someone, can you make that person sit out? Is my question.
And then just because you paid 1.5 crores for Hassan, you know him sit out.
One more reason I think what might have influenced this franchise to go for the Australian players is that Cricket Australia has said that all these players will be available throughout the season. It has not been the case in yesteryears when you have seen
Right,
the Australian
England,
players
yeah.
midway in the season they have left or they did not turn up at the start of the season except Hazelwood, who is expecting the birth of his child. All the other Australian cricketers will be available right from the start of the season. I think, and considering the fact that next year you have the main auction, so it's a gamble, so as to say.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's worth a gamble.
But that's the point. I mean, Mumbai Indians 5 titles for what? The 2 buys show why. That's, I mean, I and this whole 20 and a half and 25 crores for 2 players. And then you drop who? You drop Wanindu Hasaranga because you paid him 1.5 crore. You drop a Klassen in this form. You drop a Markram. You drop a Head. Who do you drop? Because each of these performers will have ego.
Absolutely.
And then when you drop that person, what is going to happen in that dressing room of yours?
The team environment.
And you must think, a Wanindu Hasaranga thinks he's a top-notch player.
Yeah.
And that's what is important. I mean, Starc says it was a shock. My wife Alyssa is with the women's team in India, so she was getting the updates quicker than what I was seeing on screen. And he went on to say to the host broadcaster, and here I read from what I've been sent, our test squad WhatsApp group has been going off to say it's our shout to get dinner next. Something to go ahead of the Boxing Day test. Special night for both of us, me and Cummins. Mitchell Starc, don't tell me you will get off with a dinner?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
One dinner?
It better be a dinner for years.
He should have been part of our team. We would have told him how to party.
And the new year is coming, the opera, obviously Sydney, the fireworks. Buy a yacht for God's sake and give it to your team. That's what you can do now.
And see, this is exactly what I was pointing out to Boria in our yesterday's video. That now think of this, even Alyssa Haley will be charged with all this happening, and we have to face her one day
match.
later.
Yeah.
Not a great feeling.
Yeah. And when we look at it, another crazy expensive buy was Alzari Joseph, 11.75 crores to RCB. Trisha, what do you have to say about that?
Comparatively,
I would say, okay, so here is, I'm actually happy, I would say. And I'll tell you why. Because we were going mad for Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
If you compare the money, the value of the bowler, I would say Alzari Joseph at 11.75, I'm glad with the buy. I wouldn't say it's a fantastic buy, but I would neither will I say it's a steal or something of that sort. But as a pacer, Alzari Joseph really looks good, and we didn't have any pacers. So not we, as in RCB didn't have any pacers. So I think Alzari Joseph that way it's a good buy. You couldn't have got Alzari Joseph for any lesser.
Shardul
Also, also I wanted to say they had to go for Alzari Joseph because they knew both Gujarat Titans and KKR had a purse of 31 crores still left, and when Mitchell Starc would come in, everyone knew they would break their purse.
That's the point. Why did you not go for Gerald Coetzee?
Yes, that was shocking to me.
So you did not go for a Shardul Thakur. You did not go for some other players, and Alzari Joseph at 12 crores against a Gerald Coetzee who could have given you that all-round option. Because you need that all-round option at 7. Because if you see after 6, Bangalore is all dark. You've left Shabaz. So after 7, when the Virat and the Maxwells and the Fab du Plessis are done with, and this time Rajat Patidar comes back, who's a big player for them. After the first 5, what? That's where the problem for Bangalore.
I think they had to go for a fast bowler because they
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
a lot of fast bowlers in the likes of Hazelwood,
Exactly.
Harshal Patel, Wayne Parnell, David Willey. So they have even for that matter, Siddharth Kaul.
No, I'm not saying. I mean, we are all saying they would have gone for a fast bowler. The logic is is
Why not? So
11.75.
they didn't
General
even go
Goods,
for
same,
Quincy.
same applies with
Exactly.
KKR.
Exactly.
Both these franchises did not go for
Alzari Joseph right arm fast, Gerald Kudzia right arm fast, hit the deck
But
tall.
Quincy can also
Or
give you
bat.
batting.
But you're saying comparatively to Pat Cummins, who's gone for 20 something
Absolutely.
crores, 11.5 is a good amount. But wouldn't you say comparatively getting someone like a Daryl Mitchell for 14 crores, which is something that is the right
bargain.
comparison?
No, but Daryl Mitchell is not going to give you the same pace bowling as Alzari Joseph, because Alzari Joseph is going to give you 4 overs every day. And you need it. You don't have pacers. As he said, you have let all pacers go.
Yes.
So you needed a pacer. My only problem there was, why did they go for Pat Cummins till 20 crores? And the other thing is, they did not even bid for Coetzee. My point is, had Coetzee gone above a certain mark, I would understand. Coetzee went for 5 crores. You didn't even bid.
And Dilshan Madhushanka. I mean, these were two steal buys. Shardul Thakur for 4
Absolutely.
crores, according to me, was a fabulous buy. Chennai Super Kings again. Rachin Ravindra, Shardul Thakur, Daryl Mitchell. They've done a team which MS Dhoni will feel is a team that will give him that ammo for his final year, if it's his final year.
I still think they have a very weak bowling attack, RCB, when it comes to fast bowling. Only barring the exception of Mohammad Siraj, you really don't have that firepower when you compare with the Mumbai Indians or some other franchise. Means RCB will be ruining the fact that they did not go for a genuine.
He's
win.
right. West Indies doesn't even qualify for the World T20.
Yeah.
You know, West Indies is not even making the World 50. So if Alzari Joseph was that good, he would have won some games.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
average bowler.
But these
And
were all
that also tells you, like, RCB, I genuinely can't remember when was the last time they got their auction strategies correct, to be very honest.
But moving on to better things, these were all names that you know, names that have been consistently performing. But then comes in Samir Rizvi, who's gone for 8.4 crores to CSK. How do you explain that?
Yeah, that's a great move. That's a great move. Obviously, Rijby, someone following domestic cricket knows he has been a his recent record in Mustaq Ali Trophy has been brilliant. His strike rate is about 180 plus. Means obviously he can strike the ball, and I think we were discussing among the uncapped players, say Arsin Kulkarni or a Samir Rijby, or for that one, it was surprising that Sarfaraz Khan did not get a team. Means Sarfaraz Khan did not get a team, so it was expected that with the kind of firepower, Samir Rizvi will be a good addition.
Absolutely. I think you also have to, when it comes to uncapped players specifically, and as he spoke about, here the Mushtaq Ali tournament becomes very important.
Yes.
Because that's your main domestic T20 tournament, and that is where you are doing all the scouting. Samir obviously has very good records, but the auction dynamics ensured that Samir came before Arshin Kulkarni. So probably a price difference which you are seeing actually doesn't directly tell you how good or bad Arshin is, because again, somebody went on and they wanted Samir Rizvi. It also happens, no, Gargi, that you want this particular player, and we could see that Samir Rizvi was in demand. Having said that, 8.5 crores, I almost feel, now this amount is, because the teams have money, they're just spending it.
My point is Samir Rizvi ready to take this load? That's why this whole uncapped player kind of money, you're putting 8.4 crores price cap on this guy. Is he ready? All of a sudden his whole world has changed. Today he's a multi-millionaire. Is he ready to take that money when he thinks that Rachin Ravindra, who will be in the same dressing room, 588 runs in the World Cup, 1.5 crores, and me, Samir Rizvi, just about first class, breaking my teeth, 8.5 crores. What's the kind of pressure he'll be feeling? Is he ready for that? And do the franchises even think? This is a psychological study. This is a mental health study. Yes, MS Dhoni is there to groom him, but you've got to give a thought to the mental health of that chap. Is he ready for it?
Is he ready, or will he even play?
Absolutely.
And if you don't,
That is the question.
applies
That
last
is
season.
the
Last
question.
season, Chennai Super King got Rajavardhan
Yes.
Hangarkar.
He
Same
didn't
thing.
even play.
Kolkata Knight Riders got Mashrafi Murtaza 3 over $600,000. There are multiple such examples that we can keep giving about money wasted. Will that be the case? We don't know.
But I think it's somewhat it is the spotters, the scouts, who normally have a habit
Yeah.
in mind before the auction strategy. that's the
Push
reason
for
they
these
might have
players.
gone all out. No, we
Yeah.
want this guy because they might have thought of X, Y, Z players who we need to pick from the uncapped players. So, but to be going all that way, 8 point as Boriada said, means it is putting too much of pressure on that youngster.
Also, sorry.
Think of the Yash Dayal example last year when Rinku
yes.
Singh took to him.
Yes.
Think of what he said. He broke down. Now, if a Samir Rizvi fails in 3 games, and every second he will stand in front of the mirror and think 8.5 crores, 8.5 crores, 8.5 crores. Do I deserve? Do I justify? He's a young man. It's not always good to have the money. It's not always good to have that kind of money because we don't know what the in the mind it's going through.
Do
You know,
think,
I will just change the statement a little. This is not money, this is price tag. So there's that difference.
Yeah.
When you have that money, it's okay. When that is your price tag, it becomes completely different because you know it happens when you're buying a designer bag. You expect longevity, you expect
Spot on.
quality, and that's why you're paying that money.
Spot on. And you know what will happen? You fail one game, they'll say 4 runs equal to X money. So 1 run valued at 55 lakhs. And you're like, what the hell? And social media, you think you will be away from social media? Trolls will jump on you. Everyone will jump on you. It's not easy.
Also, the other thing where I have a little bit of a question here is because this is a this is a mini auction as they call it. The point here is you are not going to groom Samir Rizvi because you have to let him go.
Yeah.
Unless he does something extraordinary, you have to let him go because see the kind of teams you have, you can't let the stars go when it comes to big auctions, you know. That means you let him go, then you're not going to, groom him also. Then what's the point of buying him?
So Kumar Kushagra has just gone to the Delhi Capitals. I mean, he went to the Delhi Capitals for 7.5 crores. Add to Samir Rizvi, Kumar Kushagra 7.2
I think
crores.
it's what's a good buy because he's a wicket-keeper batter and
Yes.
Rishabh Pant will not keep in all probability. Means
Now
given
this
his
tells you our story was right.
Yes, absolutely. And you have a Abhishek Purel who is not
Who's
who
very
has
raw.
not won is not the
Who's
who's
raw.
won the confidence of the team management. So that may be the reason, and he has done well. Kushagra has played across all formats for Jharkhand, and he has a good strike rate as well. So it's worth the gamble, obviously.
But this is what it is. The insanity of the IPL auction is the story.
And final question before I wrap up. Do you think there should be a cap
Yeah.
to all these uncapped
Absolutely.
players?
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
I mean, you just play. For you, it's a purse. For the player, it's life. You give him or her money, and here I say him or her because I bring in a
There's that
Kashmi
between,
Gautam,
yeah.
I bring in a Vrinda Dinesh,
Yeah.
and I bring in a Kumar Kushagra and a Samir Rizvi and a Shubham Dubey. It's not a one-off. Their careers are at stake. And you pay them that kind of money and they don't deliver, you junk them. For you, it's a price tag. It's one guy. For him, it's his career. Are you putting that career on the line by paying this kind of fancy tag? It's a problem.
Because you end up questioning yourself. You know, because today, Samir Rizvi, Kashvi Gautam, today they are feeling we are worth it. 2 bad matches,
And it's
maybe, just maybe I'm not there. I had recently, I was speaking to one of the Bengal players. She was fantastic in the junior tournament, was promoted to the senior, didn't score well, and started questioning herself. Do I belong here? This is exactly what
It's
will
very
happen.
simple. You played the sport, he's covered the sport, she's played the sport, we've covered the sport. 2 good balls.
Is all it
Samir
takes.
Rizvi gets 2 Yorkers, one
He's
from
gone.
Mitch Starc and one from someone else, and you're done. What does that mean? Are you good enough? You're not good enough. You start challenging yourself. That's sport. It's real, not real, no retakes.
Also, it's franchisee tournament. There is no retake here because franchisees want to win.
Yeah.
They don't care about you, what you're thinking. They will only want to win. So they'll chuck you the moment, as he said, the moment you don't do well, you're out.
Life-changing money is what these players have gotten. But will it be worth it for the franchisees? We'll find out soon enough. Till then, stay tuned to Rep Sports.